often does your team or your organization or yourself set goals? Chances are you set a lot of goals throughout either the day, the year, the quarter, whatever it might be. How often are those goals met? That number might be a little bit different. And not because of, there weren't good intentions or good hopes or good efforts, but sometimes when we set goals, we're not always clear on actually what we are setting and what we need to do to actually get there. And so that's why today I'm here with my friend Nancy Clark, awesome coach, who is going to talk a little bit about leading goals and lagging goals. Nancy, what's the point of leading goals and lagging goals?
Well, so Jill, I don't know about you, but I am a huge avid hiker. And in fact, I used to even do it's called orienteering. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but right, you get out the compass and the map and you say, okay, if I'm here and I need to go there, like how do I get there? And the number one rule in orienteering is never move unless you know exactly where you are. So if you're already lost and you move, you're just more lost. And so there is this beautiful thing called All Trails, which is an app you can put on your phone that now between that and Google Maps, you can be on a trail and it will, if you start to go off trail, you'll hear this buzz or it'll be like, are you sure you want to go this way? And, sometimes it's a take a potty break. So you go, yep, ignore. But what it does is it gives you real time feedback that you're headed in the wrong direction. Like you were on trail and somehow you veered off. Wrong move. You weren't paying attention, like that, whatever the situation may be. And so that's similar to this idea of leading and lagging goals. We set like a leading goal is those things that you set at the beginning of the year. Like you may say, I want by the end of the year to have made $150,000 more than what I made last year, or whatever that goal may be, right? And it's a goal that has multiple inputs. It requires like a long effort and it's not going to be like one day it wasn't there and then the next day it is. So that means that you can kind of start to lose, like when it starts to feel hard, it can be really easy to lose track of that goal. And so what helps with when you set a lagging goal is to set what we call leading goals, which is this whole idea of if I want this to happen 360 days from now, what do I predict needs to be true about the things I do every day or every week, whatever that cadence that makes sense for your goal is, that I accomplish and get done because I predict that if I do those things and I'm successful, I'll ultimately hit that other goal. Because, yep, you know what? You can look at your bank account every day and say, well, I'm not there yet. But that doesn't give you any information. It doesn't say, was it a good day? Was it a bad day? How do I know what I did that made a difference if the number went up or down? So the whole idea of leading goals is they tend to be more activity based things that you're doing, that you're achieving along that path that predict that you will ultimately make that lagging goal.
And I love when you talk about this because the lagging goal, okay, that's the goal. The leading goals, you've talked about this as a hypothesis before of like it might not be guaranteed if you do this, you're going to get to that destination. But talk a little bit more about how these leading goals are like a hypothesis. You're giving it
Sure.
your best guess.
Okay, so let me just give you just a really easy example. Let's just say that you want to be a yogi master by the end of the year, right? And you say, so by the end of the year, I want to be able to do every single yoga move that is in the playbook. It's measurable, it's time bound. So you'll know if you hit it or you don't hit it, right?
And I think that's the idea of a lagging goal. Sometimes even just the semantics of lagging makes it sound negative. You need that goal. You need to be clear,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, because directionally you need to know where you're headed, right? But the leading goals are that more motivational way to pivot along the way. So I make a prediction. I say, if I really want to be a yogi master, if I don't practice, I need to practice yoga. I need to put 30 minutes of yoga in a day. And I need to do, I don't know, 10 a week. And at the end of the week, if I can do X pose, I know I'm getting closer. Right. So there's this thing called a grasshopper pose. I don't know if any of you know what that is, but it's hard. And I was like, you know what? If I practice yoga every day and then every month I see, can I do the grasshopper pose? The closer and closer I get to it, I'm like, I know I'm making progress. I know that's getting me to the larger goal. And if I'm not getting there, I can pivot and say, well, maybe I need to do 30 minutes, right? I can change my hypothesis to meet the situation on the ground. Like I can pivot sooner until, because I don't want to know on day 364 that I'm not going to be a yogi.
Yeah.
That would be so sad.
And I think there is the example of, okay, we want to make $50,000 more as a company. And we
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, we set that goal without any actions towards that. Yeah, we might get a month before the end of the year and it's like, huh, we still haven't made $50,000 more. Bummer, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to be there or not, but without those, I love the example from All Trails that it like beeps at you. You're not on track. Is this okay? Like, and even just that
Right.
question of like, okay, maybe you set the lagging goal and you're not on track anymore because the goals changed or something was different,
Right.
but you're being intentional about it instead of
Yes.
walking. What was the quote again? You don't make a move if
Yeah, like don't move if you don't know where you are, right? Like you don't move unless you know where you are, because otherwise you're just making, you might get more lost, right? Like so you're making an assumption about where you are without any evidence. And like with the all trails, right? Sometimes what happens is there's something in the trail that happened. There might have been a windstorm. So guess what? Big old tree, or there might have been a rain event, and you actually do have to circumvent. And so the trail is saying, the app is saying, are you sure? And I'm going, yep. But sometimes, guess what? Talk, 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 miss the cutoff. That's happened too, right? So it is, yeah, it's just that idea of if you can you want to just be able to predict along the way if you're on track or off track, and support that with visual management so that you can see, are we trending in the right direction, or have we been making a wrong hypothesis about even how to get there, because we may have to change tactics, right, to get to that goal.
Well, thank you, Nancy. As you can see, Nancy is fantastic and passionate about these teamwork issues. This concept of leading and lagging goals is part of the thoughtfully fit practice of endurance, which is about overcoming obstacles. And I always look at endurance as if it was easy to accomplish, it would just happen. Like you wouldn't have to make any effort. But the important goals, those big goals, often take effort and time and energy, and there are obstacles along the way. And so, setting those big goals and then those leading goals along the way, it's a chance for you to have more endurance, either individually or as a team. And so this is what we do. This is what Darcy does. This is what Nancy does. This is what I do. We love working with teams to help them overcome those obstacles, whether it is a situation of goals like this or communication or conflict, alignment, whatever it might be. So if you want to learn more, if you want to hear more from Nancy, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find us at darcyloma.com. And my challenge to you, set a leading goal. Identify one of those lagging goals that you have and set a leading goal for the next month, next week, whatever it might be. Put this into practice and see what it's like. Thank you so much. You have a great day.